Alright, Shalom, Hebrews. This is the message from the Israelite Brotherhood. All praise be Almighty YAH. First of all, alright, Israelites, I was reading the prophet Amos history, and like I say, it's important, man, to know timelines. And when you read the prophet's history and its timeline contents, man, that you'll be able to see Almighty Yah's wrath unfolding on us. And we blessed to have the history that was recorded, because we can analyze our history and see what went wrong with us. Now, this is what we dealing with today as Israelites, is that our parents taught us a certain way before Almighty Yah started to wake our eyes up, and that our parents, we trust our parents, and we believe that everything that they did was for the benefit, man, of us Israelites. You know what I'm saying? We believe that it was for the benefits, man, of us Israelites, and how our parents, man, couldn't do no wrong in teaching us. Well, I'm sad to say that our parents, even though they were smart and wise, and they tried their best to teach us the things that they thought was right, that's basically going to come from their mother and father. It's going to come from their parents and so forth. And that those Israelites, men, the parents, that taught our parents, man, that they thought that they was doing right with worship, man, and everything. And us, man, it's a sad thing to say that our parents didn't understand our Israelite heritage. Now, the good thing is that they taught us to believe in a higher power and in a God, and they taught us to have respect and spirituality and so forth, and all that's gonna come from doing righteous deeds and so forth. But our parents, man, they didn't know our Israelite heritage, and they didn't understand, even though the Bible, the Tanakh, was in their hands the whole time, and that they didn't really understand at that time. Now we got everybody's history and everything basically that's been documented. It's put on a computer now. It's put on a computer, and we have access to vast information, man. I'm talking about a lot of information. Almighty Yah make it like that. We got to wake up, man. Technology belongs to Almighty Yah too. And how we Israelites got all the resources and information now, and now we can do it scientifically, methodically. I'm talking about we can go through the whole Israelite heritage in detail now, and we can get an understanding of what happened in the past. And a lot of information is available now, and it's just different from what our parents, tried to teach us. And our parents, they tried to do the right thing, but they didn't have knowledge of our Israelite heritage. So that's why you got to take it a step further. You got to take it a step farther. Now, your mama and your daddy taught you to believe in a creator, and they taught you to believe in the Tanakh, what I'm saying, in the Bible. So, they done did you right, but now that we can dissect it and get a better understanding than what our parents taught us, that we have to move forward so we can bless our children and our descendants with a better truth and with a better version of the truth. So that's all I'm saying, that if your mama and your daddy taught you a little bit about biblical history, and now we have to remember that, man, a lot of the Israelite history and understanding of biblical knowledge gonna come from the slavery era. You know, that's just point blank, and you know we can't change that. You know that our understanding of the our understanding of Christianity and the way to believe gonna come from under the our oppressors' control. You know they endorse Christianity, and you know if you're not a Christian, then you know they can become hostile. You know, especially if you're so-called African American and you're not a Christian around the descendants of the slaveholders, man, that they gonna treat you real different because they control Christianity, and they know that if they control Christianity and you believe in it, then they control your mind and your spirituality. You know what I'm saying? I find this to be real true. I'm saying I find it to be real true. Real true. All right, now that we can understand more and we can do better, we have to improve upon our parents' guidance. You know, they taught us to believe in God and to worship, and you know, so now let's take it a step further. You know, we are the Israelites that the Bible talk about. We are the Israelites that are going through the curses and the atrocities because our ancestors broke covenant. You know, we need to focus on that now. That need to be focused on. That need to be focused on. You know, it was a good thing, like I said, that our parents taught us to believe. But now we have to take it a step further and show that, hey, not only does it require a belief, it requires an understanding. We have to understand to knock history, to know what we did wrong in order to improve ourselves and make ourselves better, because the Tanakh prophecy us returning home one day and being independent from our oppressors. You know, we're going to be independent from our oppressors. So you're not going to be able to hold on to Christianity in our new heritage. You're not going to be able to hold on to none of the religions that was created after we broke our covenant in our heritage, in our new heritage. It wouldn't make no sense for the Creator to free us and then let the religions that that was created after we broke covenant be part of our new heritage. I say that it ain't, and that we Israelites that's woke, and I'm sure that Almighty Yah gonna empower us one day that we don't want no broken covenant religions represented in our new heritage. We control Yah worship. That's already understood. The Israelite Brotherhood control Yah worship history. Now, how you worshiping Almighty Yah and put your heart into it, you know what I'm saying? I'm praying that you're doing it with all your might, but the history is back up under our control, and we can explain what happened to us, so that's why I might say, it was good that our mothers and fathers taught us to believe in the Tanakh, but now we're taking a step farther and we establishing our heritage off it, because it's our heritage, it's our recorded heritage showing how we broke the covenant. So we got to dissect it. We got to go through it. We got to get the understanding of it, because when we return back to heritage and have some sovereignty, mean that we can't have no stumbling blocks and things that would cause us to fall out of grace with Almighty Yah. You know what I'm saying? As being part of our heritage. So, so you Israelites, you got to, get your heart and your soul and your mind ready for this change that's taking place, and try to become part of it. You know, if you ain't part of this new Israelite heritage that's emerging and phenomenally in the United States, man, it's one of the biggest phenomena, man, is hitting these folks. It is that the so-called transatlantic slave descendants are claiming to be Israelites. Well, and showing it now, you know, through the Israelite Brotherhood. You know, it ain't a feeling or something like that. Man, it's archaeological, all the evidence. I mean, everything. You know what I'm saying? Well, we got it all, and we mostly rely on the Tanakh history to show who we are. You know, through the Israelite Brotherhood, and then you know I use world history around it. All right, Israelites, I want to get into the Prophet Amos, and man, you know, like I say, if you understand timelines, man, you can see, you know what I'm saying, Almighty YAH wrath was unfolding. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't get it right. You know what I'm saying? As we are trying now, because we're trying to understand, you know, what happened to us in the past so we don't make these same mistakes. Man, I break it, you know what I'm saying, down to embracing oppressors, religions, and doctrines when we do go in captivity. Or Israelite or just give up sometime, you know, and just accept everything to please his captors. You know, that's demonstrated in Tanakh history. How many man of Israelite, you know, embrace his captors' doctrine just to get along with them. All right, and then Israelites, man, a party. I mean, if you got a big old party, and it's party all the time, and it's a lot of music and party and dancing. I mean, Israelites will forsake the covenant and go rather go do that party, dance, and have fun, and you know that type of stuff. You know, constantly worshiping Almighty Yah and trying to do the right thing in the past was boring to the Israelites, and they didn't look at it as a lifeline. Hey, this is our life, and that if we don't function a certain way that the Creator gave us, that hey, we ain't gonna make it. And especially if He giving us some land dominated by some sophisticated folks, that if we not doing His law, that we not gonna make it. Basically, what it boils down to in the Tanakh, that if we didn't follow the law that the Creator gave us, the culture, because it was anti-Canaanite culture, it was anti-robbing, it was anti-stealing, it was anti-unjustly killing, it was anti a whole bunch of stuff that is seen as righteous now and so forth. And you can read the sins of the Canaanite. One day I'm going to dedicate a video just to the sins of the Canaanites, how we caught up in a, you know, culture and so forth here, you know, because the people who are Canaanites kind of like founded America. I got a video. It's a pretty good video, and a lot of Israelites, you know what I'm saying, be watching it, and how in 70 AD, you know, after leaving Babylon and hitching a ride back to the promised land, during Persian times, and then how those Amorites, you know, who had posts all over, went over to the Americas during the conquistador days when Ashkenazi was after them, you know, through the Catholic Church, and then how they had went over and set up America, but how they had really been here as Amorites and serpent worshippers, worshiping, you know, because the Canaanite culture worshiped serpents, and serpent worship was part of just the whole, you know, thing. That if you wasn't, even if it was disguised, that if you wasn't worshiping Almighty Yah, that 9 out of 10 you was doing the Canaanite culture, you know, and it extended somewhere everywhere. All right, Israelites, the prophet Amos, Yah wrath was unfolding, and you know, you can kind of like see the timeline that, you know, he was in, and man, if you understand, you know, when you're reading the Tanakh history, understanding his timeline, and that man, it was basically over with for us, man. We had been doing, man, I think Egyptian religion from Jeroboam days, man, I think from 931 to when Prophet Amos started giving his message, man, we had been on Egyptian religion 165 years, man, not counting the Canaanite religions, the high places that we never removed and stuff, that the Canaanites that we let stay in our culture, especially the Amorites that got lodged in our heritage during Joshua days. Oh man, that we could never really get it right. We couldn't get it right. But this is what I like. And I'm going to show this how the tribe of Judah, the strongest Yah worshippers in throughout the tribes, the strongest Yah worship, took an oath, man, to death do them part with this Yah worship. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that if you are hardcore Yah worship and be trying to push the history that, and I'm saying, you're going to be from tribe Judah. You know, but because that's just in us, men, to push that Yah worship, and then that if you mostly from the other tribes, descendants, you know what I'm saying, from them, and it's hard for you to shake off the captives religion or religions that we done picked up during our sojourn from the promised land, that, you know, 9 out of 10, you're going to be other tribes of Israel, especially if you can't shake off that religion that was given to us under oppression during the slavery days. You know what they call Christianity, and then they gods. I showed the Israelites wasn't even around in New Testament time, and I showed that a lot of people had our heritage and lived in our land. As I had made, you know, a lot of posts a long time ago. Look, we had a lot of strangers in the promised land during Solomon time. 153,000. And then I could show 12 nations of peoples being settled after that with no numbers explaining how many of them had settled. And then they was settling in Samaria and in the northern parts because it was over. Because if you read what Prophet Amos said, man, this is before they really start taking some of us away. You know, I showed that they gonna mostly take the fighters. You know, whenever they kidnap, that they taking the fighters and so forth. That when they start, you know, taking and the other nations coming in, man, that it was basically over with. And you can see that it was over with. It was coming down. You remember that it all ends in the book of Jeremiah for the 99%. You know, for the 99%, all the tribes, you know, so that's like during Asa time. Asa gathered a lot of Yah worshippers that they came to him. You know, that wasn't with that Egyptian Jeroboam religion that was created after King David and Solomon gone. Solomon slick, you know, opened the door for the Egyptian entities being set up on our land, especially after he got Egyptian a woman, and then he set an Egyptian build her a house next to, you know, the temple or King David's place. It was one of them most important spots that Solomon built. You know what I'm saying? That Egyptian woman. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. You know, sometimes usually I could just pull a lot of stuff up, history up real quick. But Solomon built the man, the woman, a house. Look, all right. But King Solomon loved many women, and together with the Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites. Man, he was trying to bone them all. Let me see. Yeah, Solomon was trying to bone them all. He was, you know, let me see. Hebrew wives about Egypt. Let's see. Man, I'll find it one day. And then, I thought maybe I could just go to it, but Solomon had built all right, and see, in his house where he dwelt had another court within the porch, which was of the like work Solomon made also an house for Pharaoh's daughter, whom he had taken to wife. That's First Kings. That's First Kings 7:8. But let me see what First Kings 3 say. First Kings 3 might show Solomon building the house. Look, all right. Let's see what this say right here. Let's see what this say, and then let me put this in just in case this sucker try to go off. Yes, let's see. I mean, we could dissect our history now. All right, and then look here, 3. This is First Kings 3. And Solomon made affinity with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and took Pharaoh's daughter and brought her into the city of David until he had made an end of building his own house in the Elohim house. All right, so Solomon, and all right, but Solomon's supposed to have builded her a spot too. Maybe that's what I was reading. Let me see what's that name. Let me see. And they should, alright. What's up? And they should answer because they forsook the Elohim. Yeah, let me see. It served them. Therefore he brought. That's not it. That's not it. But Solomon would, make the Egyptian woman, me and the wife, and then make her a house on the grounds. All right, let's see what this says. And he made a porch for the throne, where it might judge. This is where he might judge, even the porch of judgment, and it was covered with cedar, and from one side of the floor to the other. And his house where he dwelled had another court within the porch, which was the like work of Solomon made also an house for Pharaoh's daughter, whom he had taken, and man, he had her the most fast house, man, made of all the stuff and the materials that he would probably use that was left over from, building his own house. But anyway, man, we had a lot going on in the land and we couldn't get it right. We couldn't get it right, and it was unfolding. And like I say, if you go to the understand the chronological history, look, man, from Jeroboam times, 931, all the way down till it was over with. And look, prophet Amos was there. Look, he gonna be there doing the YAH times, and Jeroboam the second time. You know what I'm saying? That's Jeroboam the second, but this is the one that they brought it out of Egypt the first. And he gonna be, I think, doing Azariah, Uzziah's time, and maybe Amos and Amaziah's time. Doing the good prophets. You know what I'm saying? But he mostly dealing with the tribes of Israel. The northern kingdom, and I think Syria was gonna be a problem during this time. And man, it was a lot going on during his time. But like I say, Almighty Yah, fate, wrath was basically unfolding on us. And I'm gonna read some of this and then go into some of the history, what I'm saying, surrounded. I want to show y'all a little something. That's like Haziel. Haziel, I think he gonna be a son of Ben Hadad. And during this time when the tribes of Israel probably with a little Egyptian backing and, the Syrian backing on the quiet side, was trying to rob the tribe of Judah, who gonna be in a mass some wealth, because Almighty Yah gonna be blessing the tribe of Judah, man, for being Yah worship, and that the northern kingdom wanted to rob them and then set puppets up in the land, but mostly rob them. But then how the tribe of Judah, even though they took the vow, man, to be Yah worshipers to the end, but how that they, would never take away the Canaanite places. I guess we got immune to the Canaanites that was living in the land, in the way that they worship, and it become a thorn to us. It become a problem to us. And I believe that was one of the curses, that if you didn't remove me in them high places. Let me see, I might can remember some verses. I can remember a lot. I can't, but I think it may be Leviticus 26. Man, that's the blessings and the curses. But I think if you go to 26, man, let me see. Man, about them idol places. All right, go to 36. Let me see. Is it 31? 30. And I would destroy Leviticus 26:30. And I would destroy your high places and cut down your images and cast your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols and my soul. See, but the thing is that them things was a thorn to us, was a thorn in our side and stuff, because we didn't remove those religions and the peoples and get rid of the Canaanite culture, that it actually become a thorn in our side, and it eventually got us, because as we, stayed on the land from exiting Egypt, I think in 1446, something like that, that when we got in the land, that we never removed the Canaanite culture. And it become a thorn in our side. And then the Egyptian, like I say, if Israelites, man, all they want to do, man, they'll set a party before us. The party, dance, and music, and food, and man, the Israelite gonna forget about his duty. It's not saying that you can't do that, but when you do that, you got to do it in the name of Yah. When you party, and you got to party in the name of Yah. And it's got to be about him. He got to be somewhere in it. Y'all got to be somewhere in your parties. It's just the way that, the only way that we can survive. We can't go to the parties and be loose and like everybody else. It do us bad, and it put us under the control of others. So our only control in how we gonna have control as a people is through Yah worship. Now, when it become enough of us real Yah worshipers with truth, that we gonna bind together and we gonna expand. That it's just how it is. But we pray Almighty Yah pull us up out of captivity, man, before then. All right, in the book of Amos, you can see a lot of the prophecies come to pass when you know the history and when the other prophets came, like Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Isaiah, and Micah, and their history and so forth, and how that they was dealing with the Israelites. And within reading that story, you're going to see the prophecies and them come to pass from the prophets before, a whole bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? That's like, I like this one, how Haziel was given some money from the temple. Now this money gonna be cursed to him. This money gonna curse Syria, because they taking it, the Israelites taking it out the temple, and then took the donations and everything, giving it to Syria for protection against the northern kingdom. And that's like, man, when they say, why does the righteous, the wicked compass the righteous and so forth, man? It be things like that. But in the land, our strength didn't come in all the way. Is because we didn't get rid of the Canaanite culture, the high places and the places where the other folks did their culture that wasn't of Moses, and then how that it would influence us. And Israelites was dropping off to it, just falling off to the Canaanite culture and abandoning Yah worship. You know what I'm saying? Let me see, man, if I could pull up, man, the Yah worship. You know what I'm saying? And how, you know, that it was the business. Man, I think, let me go to Second Chronicles 15. Man, I might read this in the Second Chronicles 15. I might read this in the Tanakh because it's so strong. All right, Second Chronicles 15. Let's get to Second Chronicles 15. We're gonna see about these Yah worshipers and how the oaths that they took. All right, and this gonna be dealing with Asa, I think. All right. Or is it 14? All right. This. All right. All right. This is Second Chronicles 15. And the spirit of Yah come upon Azariah, the son of Oded, and he went out to meet Asa. Now, Asa done whooped them Ethiopians. Now put the sword to him and said unto him, Hear ye me, Asa, and all Judah and Benjamin, the Elohim is with you, while you be with him. And if you seek him, he will be found of you. But if you forsake him, he will forsake you. Now for a long season, Israel had been without the true Yah. Now look, that's going to go all the way back to Jeroboam days. Look, 931, way back then. And then all those after them going to be basically believing in, a fall back on, to the religion that Jeroboam brought out of Egypt. And then look, all the way down to this era. So, Israel been messed up, man, a lot of years. Man, a lot of years. I show 165 years from 931 all the way down to 766. Man, it's gonna be about 165 years. So we've been messed up a long time. Look, all right. For a long season, Israel had been without the true Yah and without a teaching priest and without law. But when they in their trouble did turn unto the Elohim Yah of Israel and sought him, he was found of them. And in those times there was no peace to him that went out, nor to him that come in, but great vexation upon all the inhabitants of the countries. And nations was destroyed, of nation, in city of city, for Yah did vex them with all adversity. Be ye strong therefore, and let not your hands be weak, for your work shall be rewarded. And when Asa heard these words in the prophecy of Oded, the prophet, he took courage and put away the abominations, idols, out of all the land of Judah and Benjamin, and out of the cities which he had taken from Mount Ephraim, and renewed the altar of the Elohim that was before the porch of the Elohim. And he gathered all Judah, Benjamin, and the strangers with them out of Ephraim, Manasseh, and out of Simon, for they fell to him out of Israel in abundance when they saw that the Elohim, his Yah, was with him. So the Yah worshippers You know what I'm saying? Coming from everywhere. But they mostly going to be from the tribe of Judah. Look, and they offered unto the Elohim the same time and of the spoil which they had brought 700 oxen and 7,000 sheep, and they entered into a covenant to seek the Elohim Yah of their father with all their heart and with all their soul, that whosoever would not seek the Elohim Yah of Israel should be put to death, whether small, great, or whether man or woman's. Now, you heard that. And now that was that oath right there, that if you was amongst them and you wasn't no Yah worshiper, you was finna get your lights put out. So all the Israelites, men that didn't want to do that Jeroboam religion and went over to the real Yah, and also opened the door for them to come on in. You know what I'm saying? But you see what that say? That whosoever would not seek the Elohim Yah of Israel should be put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman. And they swear unto the Elohim with a loud voice, and with shouting, and with trumpets, and with cornets. And all Judah rejoice at the oath. See, them gonna be the Yah worshipers, the hard Yah worshipers. Put you to death if you in their camp and you ain't worshiping Yah. Man, when we get home, that, man, it ain't gonna be nothing but Yah worshipers. But because that's all it could ever be. That we not finna have the broken covenant religions at home dominating us, or in alliance with us in any kind of way. It wouldn't make no sense when we back in supreme standing. We're going to be Yah worshipers like these folks right here. Our folks, look. And all Judah rejoiced at the oath, for they had sworn with all their heart and sought him with their whole desire, and he was found of them. And the Elohim gave them rest round about. See, that's what we gonna want. When we in the promised land, we gonna want rest. And the only way that you can have rest is that everybody on one page with the Yah worship. And they was willing to put folks to death amongst them that wasn't on that level. You see what I'm saying? So it was real important. Look, and also concerning Micah, the mother of Asa the king, he removed her from being queen because she had made an idol in a grove, and Asa cut down her idol and stomped it and burnt it at the brook of Kidron. That's gonna be with them wicked folks in Bethel, because Josiah done burnt some stuff up and throwed it in the same river. Some years later, about 100 some years later, look. And he brought into the house of Yah the things that his father had dedicated, and that he himself had dedicated, silver and gold and vessels. And there was no more war until the 5th and 20th year of Asarim, and in the 30th year of the reign of Asa, Baasha, king of Israel, come up men against Judah and built Ramah to the intent that he might let none go out or come in to King Asa. So, you know what I'm saying, he was blocking, but, you know what I'm saying, Asa gonna be none not, took away those, high places. You know, Asa gonna be none not took away men the high places. And let me see if I can, find something in relation to that. You know, he stood his ground and did right, but at the same time, man, you know what I'm saying, I think he let the high places stand up. You know what I'm saying? He let the high places stand up. And I'm gonna go to 2nd Chronicles 15. Let me see, 2nd Chronicles 15. Alright, and also, alright, what about First Kings, 2nd Kings? Let's see. Yeah, also gonna be gonna let the the high places stay and stuff. I think I had read something about that. 2nd Kings 14:4. All right. Let me see. And Jehoahaz, king of Israel, reigned Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, and he was 25 years old. And he did that which was right in the sight of Elohim. Howbeit the high places were not taken away, as yet the people did sacrifice and burn incense unto the high places. You know, that's going to be the Canaanite controlled places and so forth. Alright, this Hazael, alright, let's get to, let me read this here, alright? I'm going to read it from the Tanakh. Alright, the words of Amos, a sheep breeder from Tekoa, who prophesies concerning Israel in the reigns of Uzziah of Judah and Jeroboam, son of Joash of Israel, 2 years before the earthquake. And he proclaimed the Elohim's roar from Zion, shouts aloud from Jerusalem, and the pasture of the shepherds shall languish, and the summit of Carmel shall wither. This said the Elohim, for the transgression of Damascus, for I will not revoke it, because they thrashed Gilead with threshing boards of iron. I will send down fire upon the palaces of Hazael, and it shall devour the fortress of Benadad, and I will break the great bars of Damascus and wipe out the inhabitants from Val of Avon. Alright, this dude, Hazael, man, if you look in history, man, I think it's 2 Kings 14 that we went and sent them some gold and stuff, man, to keep them from robbing the tribe of Judah. Sent them gold to keep the northern kingdom from robbing them and so forth. And I believe that the northern kingdom was able to be robbed is because they didn't take the high places, even though the kings was YAH worshippers later on after Asa, that they didn't remove the high places and so forth. And they'll spring up after a good king. You know what I'm saying? That's like Asa was a good king. Jehoshaphat was a good king. Jehoram gonna be a bad king, meaning he gonna let the high places stick around, and Ahaziah gonna be, you know what I'm saying, the bad king, because he gonna be kicking it with the northern kingdom and the stuff that they was doing. And Joash, he gonna, get it right. And Amaziah and Uzziah, who is Azariah, they gonna get it right. You know what I'm saying? So, doing it one time, we was robbing each other. That, we went and hired some folks, man, for protection. And the reason that Judah would have a crack in their defense is going to be because they didn't take away the high places. And when you read the kings of Judah's history, you're going to see the high places, even though all of them just about good, but they didn't take away the high places. And the high places going to be the Canaanites, the 153-some thousand folks that multiplied on us, that's still there, that we didn't destroy their worship when we left Egypt. And Joshua in the Judges' days. Oh man, we fell apart. Alright, then I wanted to show this of them robbing. Then let me see. Also did wipe out the Egyptian religion. Let me get these things in there. YAH worshippers from Israel. The hard YAH worshippers. I just read about the hard YAH worshippers. Let me go to 2 Chronicles 15, where they took that oath. Look, and the spirit of YAH come upon Isaiah, the son of Od, did, and he went out to meet Asa, and they told him that if you stay a YAH worshiping, then they say that it's YAH worship to the end, and whoever ain't YAH worshiping with them gonna be put to death. Alright, now this dude Hazael, alright, 2 Kings 12:17. I believe that's when he was hired. All right, 2 Kings 17. Let's see what it say. All right. All right. Then Hazael, king of Assyria, went up and fought against Gath and took it. And Hazael set his face to go up to Jerusalem. And Joash, king of Judah, took all the hollow things that Jehoshaphat, Jehoram, and Ahaziah's father, king of Judah, had dedicated in his own hollow things, and all the gold that was found in the treasure of the house of the Elohim and in the king's house, and sent it to Hazael, king of Assyria, and he went away from Jerusalem. All right, that's gonna curse him because he got all that stuff out the temple and stuff. Look, I will send down fire upon the palaces of Hazael, and it shall devour the fortress of Ben-Hadad, and I will break the gate bars of Damascus, and wipe the inhabitants of the vale, and the scepter ruler of Beth-Adim, and the people of Amos shall be exiled to Kir, saith the Elohim. This saith the Elohim, for 3 transgression of Gaza, and for 4 I will not revoke it. All right, now let me see this. Now that history, man, is here about Syria robbing and doing their thing and stuff to us and stuff, and it's gonna be because the king of Israel, was robbing Judah. Let me see how this go. All right. In the 2nd year of Joash, king, Jehoash, king of Israel, reigned in Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah. And he was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jehoiadan of Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Elohim, yet not like David his father. He did according to all the things that Joash his father did. Howbeit the high places were not taken away, as yet the people did sacrifice and burn incense on the high places. And it come to pass, as soon as the kingdom was confirmed in his hand, that he slew his servants which had slain the king his father. But the children of the murderers he slew not, according unto which is written in the book of the law of Moses, wherein the commandment, saying, the father shall not be put to death for the children, neither the children be put to death for the father, but every man shall be put to death for his own sins. He slew Edom in the valley of Salt, 10,000, and took Salah by war. All right, but man, he took Salah by war and called the name of it Jokathel, but man, to this day. Then Amaziah sent messengers to Jehoash, the son of Jehoash, son of Jehu, king of Israel, saying, come and let us look one another in the face. And Jehoash, the king of Israel, sent to Amaziah, king of Judah, saying, the thistle that was in Lebanon sent to the cedar that was in Lebanon, saying, give thy daughter to my son to wife. And there passed by a wild beast that was in Lebanon, and trodden down the thistle. Thou hast indeed smitten Edom, and then heart hath lifted thee up. Glory of this, and tarry at home. For why shouldest thou meddle to thy hurt, that thou shouldest fall, even that thou and Judah with thee? But Amaziah would not hear. Therefore Jehoash, king of Israel, went up, and he and Amaziah, king of Judah, looked one another in the face at Bethshemesh, each which belongeth to Judah. And Judah was put to the worst. You know what I'm saying, before Israel, and they fled every man to their tents. And Joash, king of Israel, took Amaziah, king of Judah, the son of Ahaz, at Bethshemesh, and come to Jerusalem, and break down the wall of Jerusalem from the gate of Ephraim, man, unto the corner, 400 cubits. And he took all the gold and all the silver and all the vessels that was found in the house of the Elohim, in the treasures of the king's house, and the hostages, and returned to Samaria. Now the rest of the acts of Joash, which he did. So yeah, man, that's awful. You know what I'm saying? How we would do each other, and that is part of our problem, is how we didn't do each other right, man, and how we would mostly rob each other and do each other wrong. But that's because we couldn't get the worship right. You know, the worshiping right required us to follow Moses' law on not bothering each other and bothering nothing that pertained to each other. And if we're not doing the law or trying to follow the law, then we're going to be, doing each other wrong and so forth. All right? So it's a lot of little history. Man, I can show, Judah by Israel to fight. All right, so that's Second Chronicles. Let's see what Second Chronicles 16. Second Chronicles 16. But because one of the kings sent for the Assyrians to help fight and so forth, man, we couldn't get it right. All right, Second Chronicles 16. Let's see what this say. Judah used Syria. All right. In the 16th year of the reign of Asa, Baasha, king of Israel, come up against Judah and built Ramah to the intent that he might let none go out or come in to Asa, king of Israel. Then Asa bought out silver and gold out of the treasure of the house of the Elohim and of the king's house, and sent to Benhadad, king of Syria, that dwelt at Damascus, saying, there is a league between me and thee, as there was between my father and thy father. Behold, I have sent thee silver and gold. Go break thy league with Baasha, king of Israel, that he may depart from me. And Benhadad hearkened unto King Asa, and went and sent the captains of his armies against the cities of Israel. And they smote Ajah, Dan, and Arim, and all the cities, store cities of Naphtali. And it come to pass, when Asa heard it, that he left off building of Ramah, and let his work cease. Then Asa the king took all Judah, and they carried away the stones of Ramah and the timber thereof, wherewith Baasha was building, and built wherewith Gebal and Mizpah. And at that time Hanani the seer came to Asa king of Judah, and said unto him, because thou hast relied on the king of Syria, and not relied on the Elohim thy YAH, therefore the host of the king of Assyria, therefore is the host of the king of Assyria escaped out of thine hand. Were not the Ethiopians in the Libyans a huge host with very many chariots and horsemen? Yet because thou didst rely on the Elohim, he delivered them into them hands. See, man, it's all about Almighty Yah worship. But Prophet Amos came back and prophesied Hazael and Ben-Hadad and them destruction, and it come to pass, and that's gonna be messing with that treasury and stuff that was dedicated to the temple that them folks took out. All right, let me get to reading this. All right. Let me see this. 3 transgressions of Gaza for 4. I would not revoke it, because they exiled an entire population which they delivered to Edom. I would send down the fire upon the wall of Gaza, and shall devour the fortress, and I will wipe out the inhabitants of Ashdod, and the scepter of the ruler of Ashkelon, and I will turn my hand against Ekron, and the Philistines shall perish to the last man, said the Elohim. This said the Elohim, for 3 transgressions of Tri, and for 4 I would not revoke it, because they had handed over an entire population to Edom, ignoring the covenant of the brotherhood. I will send down fire upon the walls of Tri, and it shall devour the fortress. What's name gonna be none got it? Nebuchadnezzar in them. This said the Elohim, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I would not revoke it, because he pursued his brother with the sword, and repressed all pity, because his anger raged unceasing, and his fury stormed unchecked. And I will send down the fire upon Teman, and it shall devour the fortress of Bozrah. That's the Edomite fortress. And it happened, look, this said the Elohim, for 3 transgressions of the Ammonites, and for 4 I will not revoke it, because they ripped open the pregnant women of Gilead in order to enlarge their own territory. I will set fire to the wall of rubble, and it shall devour its fortress amid shouting on a day of battle, on a day of violent tempest. Their king and his officers shall go into exile together. This said the Elohim, for 3 transgressions of Moab, for 4 I will not revoke it, because he burnt the bones of the king of Edom to land. I will send down fire upon Moab, and it shall devour the fortress of Kerith, and Moab shall die in the tumult, amid shouting and the blame of horns. I will wipe out the ruler from within her, and slay all the officials along with him, said the Elohim. This said the Elohim, for 3 transgressions of Judah, and for 4 I would not revoke it, because they have spurned the teachings of the Elohim, and have not observed his law. They have beguiled by the delusion after which their fathers walked, and I will send down fire upon Judah, and it shall devour the fortress of Jerusalem. Now, during this time right here, all right, who could be bad? Who could be bad? Man, this gonna be Ahaz. Let me see. Ahaz might been around during that time. And yeah, Ahaz gonna be doing that time. I believe in Judah that ain't doing right. You know what I'm saying? All right. And have not observed this, his laws. They are beguiled by, let me see. This is the Elohim, for 3 transgressions of Judah, for 4 I would not revoke it, because they have spawned the teachings of the Elohim, and have not observed his laws, and they are beguiled by the delusion after which their fathers walked. I will send down fire upon Judah, and it shall devour the fortress of Jerusalem. And that happened when Ashkenazi come in under the name Scythian in the book of Jeremiah. This said the Elohim, for 3 transgressions of Israel, for 4 I would not revoke it, because they have sold the silver, those whose cause was just, and the needy for a pair of sandals. Man, our folks cutting up. You who trample the heads of the poor men into the dust of the ground, and make the humble walk a twisted course, father and son go to the same girl, thereby profane my holy name. Many it's like that now today. They recline by every altar. You know what I'm saying? They recline by every altar on garments, take and pledge and drink in the house of their Elohim. So they do all that wickedness and go up to the temple. Wine bought with fines they impose. You know what I'm saying? That they taking the fines from the folks and, the army and stuff, and then they go get high off the money. Look. Destroyed the Amorites before them. Yet I destroyed the Amorites before them, whose stature was like the cedars, and who was stout as the oak. The destroying his brought above and his trunk below. And I brought you up from the land of Egypt, and led you through the wilderness through 40 years to possess that land of the Amorites. And I raised you up prophets from among your sons, and Nazarites from among your young men. Is that not so, O people of Israel? Says the Elohim, but you made the Nazarite drink wine. Ain't supposed to mess with no grapes. That's an oath that they took. In order the prophets not to prophecy. And I will slow your movements as a wagon is slow when it is full of cut grain. Flight shall follow the swift. The strong shall find no strength, and the warrior shall not save his life, and the bowman shall not hold his ground, and the fleet-footed shall not escape. So they came to pass in the book of Jeremiah when we got driven off the land. Nor the horseman save his life. Even the most stouted warrior shall run away unarmed that day, declares the Elohim. Hear this, O people of Israel, that the Elohim has spoken concerning you, concerning the whole family that I brought up from the land of Egypt. You above have I singled out of all the families of the earth. That is why I have called you to account for all your iniquities. Can you walk together? Can two walk together without having met? Does a lion roar in the forest when he has no prey? No, because he's going to scare it away. Does a great beast let out a cry from its den without having made it capture? No, because he's going to be quiet till you get a meal. Look, does a bird drop on the ground into a trap? No, sure don't. Why no snare there? Well, with no snare there, does a trap spring up from the ground unless it has caught something? When a ram's horn is sound in a town, do the people not take alarm? Can misfortune come to a town if the Elohim has not caused it? Indeed, my Elohim YAH does nothing without having revealed his purpose to his servants, the prophets. Since he done told us from all the prophets what was going to happen. Everything he warned us, man, before it happened, and then it come to pass. That's why you should only be a YAH worshiper, because you can see history come to pass. It's recorded in our enemy's history. Look, to his servants, the prophets, a lion has roared, who can but fear? My Elohim Yah has spoken, who can but prophecy? Proclaim in the fortress of Ashdod and in the fortress of the land of Egypt. Say, gather on the hill of Samaria and witness the great outrage within her and the oppression in her midst. They are incapable of doing right, declares the Elohim. They store up lawlessness and reap it in their fortress. Assuredly, this said the Elohim Yah, an enemy all about the land. He shall strip you of your splendor, and your fortress shall be plundered, said the Elohim. This said the Elohim, as a shepherd rescued from the lion's jaw 2 shank bones on the tip of an ear, so shall the Israelites escape. Who shall do it? That man escape the Syrians and everybody else. The Babylonians when they came. I'm gonna see with the legs of a bed of the head of a couch. Hear this and warn the house of Jacob. Say, my Elohim, the Elohim Yah of hosts, what when I punish Israel for his transgression, I will wreak judgment on the altar of Bethel, and the horns of the altar shall be cut off and shall fall to the ground. Look, its last stands gonna be in the book of Josiah. The King Josiah put the Baal worship down and destroyed it. Just like that, prophet says, look, but man, if you go to 2nd Chronicles, man, that'll be 34. 34, and then you'll read, look. Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 31 years, and he did that which was right in the sight of the Elohim, and walked in the ways of David his father, and declined neither to the right hand nor to the left. For in the 8th year of his reign, while he was yet young, he began to seek after the Elohim of David his father, and in the 12th year he began to purge Judah and Jerusalem from the high places, in the groves. You see him getting rid of the high places, in the groves, in the carved images, in the molten images, and they break down the altar. I mean, that's like the churches. You mostly have to go up some steps to get in them. And they break down the altars of the Balaam in his presence, and the images that were on high above them. And he cut down the grove and the carved images in the molten images, and he brake in pieces and made of dust them, and stowed it upon the groves of them that had sacrificed unto them. And he burnt the bones of the priests upon their altars, and cleansed Jerusalem, Judah and Jerusalem. And so did he in the cities of Manasseh, Ephraim, and even up to Naphtali, with their mattucks round about. And when he had broken down the altars and the groves, and had beaten the groves and images into powder, and cut down all the idols throughout all Israel, and he returned to Jerusalem. But wait a minute, let's go to 2 Kings 22. I think it might even tell us a little more in detail how he burnt the folks' bones up, and then put them inside that same brook that the prophet was talking about. And that was the prophecy coming to pass. Let me see, 22. All right. Let me see. Judgments when it began to rain. All right, that's when they get the book from Habakkuk. And he brought all the priests out of the cities of Judah and defiled the high places wherewith the priests had burnt incenses from Geba to Beersheba, and break down the high places of the gates that were in the entering of the gates of Joshua, the governor of the city, which were on the man's left hand at the gate of the city. Nevertheless, the priests of the high places come not up to the altar of the Elohim in Jerusalem. All right. And he defiled Topah. All right, this is Josiah's history. Second Kings 22. And he defiled Topher, which was in the valley of the children of Hinnom, that no man might make his son or his daughter to pass through the fire to Moloch. And he took away the horses that the kings of Judah had given to the son in the entering of the house of the Elohim by the chambers and so forth. All right. And the altars that was on the upper chamber of Ahaz with the king of Judah, he made the altars with Manasseh. That was his granddaddy. And the high places that were, let me see, and he did, let me see, here it is, the Elohim did the king beat down and break down from thence, and cast the dust of them into the brook Kidron. There it is, right there. So that's what he did, and that come to pass. Let me see, lawlessness, all right, where was I at? Wreak havoc, all right. Yeah, man, he did just that. Let me see. And the shepherd rescued from the long strong. What is the bid? And hear this, ye warn the house of Elohim of hosts, that when I punish Israel for his transgression, I will wreak judgment upon the altar of Bethel, and the horns of the altar shall be cut off and shall fall to the ground. And then that's what Josiah did. And I will wreck the winter places together with the summer palaces, and the ivory palaces shall be demolished, and the great houses shall be destroyed, declared the Elohim. This said, hear this word, you cows of Bashan, on the hills of Samaria, who defraud the poor, who rob the needy, who say to your husband, bring and let us course. My Elohim Yah swears by his holiness, behold, the days are coming upon you when you will be carried off in baskets into the last one in fish baskets. Man, but we know the slave ships got us, and each one threw a breach straight ahead and flung on the refuse heap, declares the Elohim, and come to Bethel and transgress to Gal and transgress even more. Present your sacrifice the next morning and your tithes on the third day. That's what the Israelites were doing, that old wickedness. And burn a thank offering of living bread, and proclaim free will offerings loudly, for you love that sort of thing, O Israelites, declares the Elohim. I, on my part, have given you cleanness of teeth in all your towns, and lack of food in all your settlements, yet ye did not turn back to me. The more punishment he put on us, the more worse we got. I therefore withheld the rain from you 3 months before harvest time. I would make it rain on one town and not another. One field would be ruined upon, while another, which did not rain, would wither. So 2 or 3 towns would wander to a single town to drink water. So where the Yah worshippers at, it was raining and water. And where it wasn't no Yah worshippers, they was doing bad. Yet ye did not turn back to me, declares the Elohim. I scourged you with blight and mildew, and repeated your gardens and vineyards. Your fig trees and olive trees were devoured by locusts, yet you did not turn back to me, declares the Elohim. I sent against you pestilence in the manner of Egypt. I slew your young men with the sword, together with your captured horses. I made the stench of your armies rise up in your nostrils, Yet you did not turn back to me, declares the Elohim. I have wrought destruction among you as when Yah destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. You have become like a brand plucked from the burning. Yet you did not turn back to me, declares the Elohim. Assuredly, because I am doing that to you, even so will I act toward you, O Israel. Prepare to meet your Yah, O Israel. Behold, you who formed the mountains and created the wind and has told men his wish is who turns blackness into daybreak and treads upon the high places of the earth. His name is the Elohim Yah of hosts. Hear this word which I intone as a decree over you, O house of Israel, failing not to rise again. Oh man, we got kicked out of the land. Maiden Israel abandoned on her soil with none to lift her up. For this said the Elohim of Yah about the house of Israel, the town that marches out 1,000 strong shall have 100 left, and the one that marches out 100 strong shall have 10 left. This said the Elohim. Look, you see what they were saying in the book of Jeremiah? It's just a fruit of many. A fruit of many. Man, if you read this, Jeremiah 42, man, we've been breaking bad for a long time. Look what it says. And they said unto Jeremiah the prophet, let we beseech thee, our supplications be accepted before thee, and pray for us unto the Elohim, even for all this to remain. For we are left but a few of many, as then eyes do behold. We was in the millions. We was down into, man, some thousands running into Africa. So that came to pass what the prophet Amos said, and it's going to be about almost 200 years later. It came to pass. Look. Shall have but 10 left. This said the Elohim, the house of Israel, seek me, and you will live. Do not seek Bethel, nor go to Gal, nor cross over to Beersheba, for Gal shall go into exile, and Bethel shall become a delusion. Seek the Elohim, and ye will live, else he will rush like fire upon the house of Joseph, and consume Bethel with none to quench. Now, we know Bethel is going to be where Jeroboam set that Egyptian religion up. You know, if you go to First Kings, I think it's First Kings. First Kings 12. See, look. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And he set one in Bethel, and the other he put in Dan. So that stuff was around, man, until we got beat down. And, you know what I'm saying? Until we got beat down and chased out the land. It ain't there right now. Look, all right. You who turn justice into wormwood and hurl righteousness to the ground, seek the Elohim, who made the Palisades and Orions, who turns deep darkness into dawn and darkness day into night, who summons the waters of the sea and pours them out upon the earth. His name is the Elohim. It is he who hurls destruction upon strongholds, so that ruin comes upon fortress. They hate the aperture in the gate, and detest him who pleads is just. Surely because you impose a tax on the poor and exact from him a levy of grain, you have built houses of hewn stone, but you shall not live in them. For you have planted a delightful vineyard, but you shall not drink their wine. For I have noted how many of your crimes and how countless your sins, your enemies of the righteous. You enemies of the righteous, you takers of bribes, you who subvert in the gate, the cast off of the needy. Assuredly at such a time the prudent men keep the silent, for it is an evil time. Seek good and not evil, that you may live, and that the Elohim of hosts may truly be with you. As you think, hate evil and love good, and establish justice in the gate. Perhaps the Elohim, the YAH of hosts will be gracious to the remain of Joseph. Assuredly, the Elohim of the hosts. Remember Joseph, the descendants Ephraim going in and out of Egypt and Assyria, hanging out with them. Look, this said the Elohim, the YAH, the Elohim, the YAH of hosts. In every square there shall be lamenting, every street cries of woe. And the farm hand shall be called to mourn, and those skilled in wailing to lament. For there shall be lamenting in every vineyard too, when I pass through your midst. And that's the book of Jeremiah. It come to pass. In the book of Jeremiah, Lamentations. All ye who wish for the day of the Elohim, why should you want the day of the Elohim? It shall be darkness, not light. And if a man run from a lion and be attacked by a bear, or if he go outdoors, should lean his hand on the wall and be bitten by a snake. Man, that's awful. Man, by surprise is going to come in on you. Surely the day of the Elohim shall be not light, but darkness, night without glimmer. And I loathe, I scorn your festivals. I am not appeased by your solemn assemblies. If you offer me burnt offerings on your meal offerings, I will not accept them. And all this is the same stuff that's going down in Malachi too for the exiles. That little 1%, he telling them the same thing. It was over with. I will not accept them. I will pay no heed to your gifts or fatlings. Spare me the sound of your hymns, and let me not hear the music of your lutes. Let justice well up on like water, righteous like an unfailing stream. Did you offer sacrifice and oblations to me these 40 years in the wilderness, O Israel? And you shall carry off your king Sukkot and Koyon, the images you have made for yourselves of your astral deities. Man, we was doing all that Canaanite stuff. We was messed up real bad. As I drive you into exile before Damascus, said the Elohim, whose name is the Elohim of hosts, are you who are at ease in Zion and confident on the hills of Samaria, you notable of the leading nations, of whom the house of Israel pin their hopes, cross over to Kalah and see, and go from there to Great Hamath, and go down to Gath and to the Philistines. And are you better than these kingdoms, or is their territory larger than yours? Yet you ward off the thoughts of a day of woe. And you know what I'm saying? When we didn't think it was coming, and in the book of Jeremiah, one of the prophets put on a wooden chain, said, we ain't gonna go into captivity after Jeremiah put one on. And then he took it off of him. And I forgot his name. All right, they lie on ivory beds, lolling on their couches. See, look, but man, if you read some of this stuff, it show you that we couldn't have been in America. Look, they lie on ivory beds, lolling on couches, feasting on lamb from the flock and on calves from the stalls. They hum snatches of songs to the tune of the lute. They account themselves musicians like David. See, I told you, a good old party. The folks forget, y'all. Look, that they drank straight from the wine bottles and anoint themselves with the choicest oils, but they are not concerned about the ruin of Joseph. Or surely, right soon, they shall head the column of the exiles. They're going to be in the front of it. They shall lolly no more at festival meals. My Elohim Yah swears by himself and loathe the pride of Jacob. I detest his fortress. I would declare forfeit city and inhabitants alike. Declare the Elohim, the Yah of hosts. If 10 people are left in one house, they shall die. And if someone's kinsman who is to burn incense for him comes to carry the remains out of the house and calls to the one at the rear of the house, are there any alive besides you? He will answer, no, none, and will say, hush, so that no one may utter the name of the Elohim, for the Elohim will command, and the great house shall be smashed to bits, and the little houses to splendor. Man, we had it bad, and all that come to pass when them folks come to get us out the house and out the land. Can horses gallop on a rock? Can they be plowed with oxen? Yet you have turned justice into poison, weed, and the fruit of the righteous to the wormwood are those who are so happy about, Lord, who exalt by your might. We have captured Kern, but I, O house of Israel, will rise up a nation against you, declares the Elohim of hosts, who will harass you from Leb-Hamath to the Wadi of Har. That's the Syrians came. Would be the next folks to tear the kingdom of Israel up and take all the monarchs, the leaders in the army away. This is what the Elohim of YAH showed me. He was creating a plague of locusts at the time when the last on crops was beginning to sprout. Man, why they had thinking that they was finna have a good harvest, the Almighty YAH had some locusts in the cut loose on the people. Look, the late swarm crops after the king reaping, when it had finished devouring the heritage in the land, I said, oh Elohim YAH, pray forgive, how will Jacob survive? He is so small. The Elohim relented concerning this, it shall not come to pass. So he ain't turned the locusts on us. But the prophet seen him have some locusts ready to eat the folks' food up then that would have probably destroyed them. Look, this is what the Elohim YAH showed me. Lo, my Elohim YAH was summoning to contend by fire, which consumed the great deep, and was consuming the fields. I said, oh Elohim YAH, refrain, how will Jacob survive? And he is so small. The Elohim relented concerning this, that shall not come to pass. Man, he was finna get us all kind of ways back then. Neither said the Elohim YAH, this is what he showed me, that he was standing on the wall, checked with a plumb line, and was fashioning that plumb line. And the Elohim said, what do you see, Amos? A plumb line. And I replied, and my Elohim said, I am going to apply a plumb line to my people Israel, and I will pardon them no more. Look, the plumb line was in the book of Ezekiel. The shrines of Isaac shall be laid waste, and the sanctuaries of Israel reduced to ruins, and I will turn upon the house of Jeroboam with the sword. See, that's because they doing that Egyptian religion, and this is him right there, Jeroboam too, and that's who Amos was dealing with. Amaziah, the priest of Bethel, sent the message to King Jeroboam of Israel. Amos is conspiring against you within the house of Israel. The country cannot endure the things he is saying. For Amos has said, Jeroboam shall die by the sword, and Israel shall be exiled from his soil. Amaziah also said to Amos, sear off with you to the land of Judah. Earn your livings there and do your prophecy there. But don't ever prophesy again at Bethel, for it is a king's sanctuary in the royal palace. That's messed up. Look, Amos answered Amaziah, I am not a prophet, and I am not a prophet's disciple. I am a cattle herder and a tender of sycamore figs. But the Elohim took me away from following the flock. And the Elohim said to me, go prophesy to my people Israel, and say, hear the word of the Elohim. You say, I must not prophesy about the house of Israel, or teach or preach about the house of Isaac. But this, I swear, is what the Elohim said. Your wife shall play the harlot in the town, and your sons and daughters shall fall by the sword, and your land shall be divided up with a measuring line. And you yourself shall die on unclean soil, for Israel shall be exiled from his soil. This is what my Elohim YAH showed me. This was a basket of figs. He said, what do you see, Amos? A basket of figs, I replied. And the Elohim said to me, the hour of doom has come for my people Israel. I will not pardon them again. And the singing women of the palaces shall howl on that day. And Bemin declares the Elohim YAH. So many corpses left lying everywhere. And look, as you read, after the exiles, you don't hear about their names no more. After Josiah done cleaned them up, and then the destruction come to get us off the land. The northern king name ain't mentioned no more, but the northern king name is mentioned during Josiah's, Hezekiah, and Josiah's times. 2 Chronicles 30 and 34. Listen to you who devour the needy, annihilating the poor of the land, saying, if only the new moon were over so that we could sell grain, and the Sabbath so that we could offer wheat for sale, using the ephah that is too small and the shekel that is too big, tilting a dishonest scale, and selling grain refuse as grain. Selling grain refuse as grain. We will buy the poor for silver and needy for a pair of sandals. The Elohim swears by the pride of Jacob, I will never forget any of their doings. Man, that's why we had to go. And shall not the earth shake for this? All that dwell on it mourn. Shall not all rise like the Nile, and surge to subside like the Nile of Egypt? And in that day, declares the Elohim, I will make the sun set at noon, and I will darken the earth on a sunny day, and I will turn your festivals into mourning, and all your songs into dregs. I will put sackcloth on all your loins, and tincture on every head. I will make it mourn as for an only child, all of it as on a bitter day. At time it comes, declares the Elohim Yah, when I will send a famine upon the land, not a hunger for bread or for thirst for water, but for hearing the word of the Elohim. Men shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north to the east, to seek the word of the Elohim, but they shall not find it. In that day the beautiful diadems and the young men shall faint with thirst. Those who swear by guilt of Samaria, saying, as their God lived, Dan, and as the way to Beersheba lives, they shall fall to rise no more. So no. I saw my Elohim standing by the altar, and he said, strike the capitals so that the threshold quake, and make an end to the first of them all, and I will slay the last of them when the sword. Not one of them shall escape, and not one of them shall survive, if they bow down to Sheol. From there, that's bow down to hell, and from there my hand shall take them. And if they ascend to heaven, from there I will bring them down. And if they hide on the top of Carmel, there I will stretch out and seize them. So Almighty Yah said, wherever we at, and the curses was going to be on you, basically, and you ain't going to be able to escape. And it's been like that for Israelite all around the world, especially here in captivity. It's been just like that. Look, the day I will search out and seize them, and if they conceal themselves from my sight at the bottom of the sea, there will I command the serpent to bite them. And if they go into captivity before their enemies, there I will command the sword to slay them, and I will fix my eye on them for evil and not for good. And it is my Elohim Yah, the host, at whose touch the earth tremble, and all who dwell on it mourn, and all the swells like Nile, and subsides like the Nile of Egypt, who built his chamber in heaven, and founded his vault on the earth, who summons the water of the sea, and pours them out over the land. His name is Yah. To me, O Israelites, you are just like the Ethiopians, declares the Elohim. True, I brought Israel up from the land of captive, but also the Philistines from captive. I brought up Israel from the land of Egypt, but I also the Philistines from captive, and Armenians from Ker. They was all in bondage. He didn't help them. Behold, the Elohim has his eye upon the sinful kingdom. I will wipe it off the face of the earth, but I will not wholly wipe you out, the house of Jacob, declares the Elohim, for I will give you the order and shake the house of Israel. I will give you the order and shake the house of Israel, and through all the nations, and as one shakes sand in a sieve, and not a pebble falls to the ground, and all the sinners of my people shall perish by the sword. So that's why you got to be a Yah worshiper. But men who boast, never shall the evil overtake us or come near us. In that day I will set up
again the felon booth of David, and I will mend its breaches, and set up the ruins anew, and I will build it firm in the days of old, so that they shall pass, so that they shall possess the rest of Edom, and all the nations once attached to my name, declares the Elohim Yah. And then that's what we're waiting on to happen, and will bring this to pass. At that time, a time is coming, declares the Elohim, when the plowworm shall meet the reaper, and the treader of grapes him who holds the bag of seeds. And when the mountains shall drip wine, and all the hills shall wave with grain. And I will restore my people Israel, and they shall rebuild ruined cities and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and drink their wine, and they shall till gardens and eat their fruits, and I will plant them upon the soil, and nevermore to uproot from the soil I have given them, said the Elohim Yah. So, basically, man, this book and this prophet was during the time that we were still on Egyptian religion, and we was robbing each other, and then we hired others to protect us instead of relying on Yah. And then that's going to be the crack in Judah's shield, is going to be that he never took away the high places and so forth. When you worshiping Yah, you got to cut everything loose and just let Yah be number one in your life. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood.